So this is MetaTrader 5, which is a trading app, but you probably already know that if you clicked on this video. What I want to do is share with you what I done today for a trade. As best as I can. You can see the market's still open. So if you've never done trading before, because I'm going to assume you're pretty new to trading or you've never done it before or whatever, because I'm still at the point as well, I'm learning. And this is a couple of things that I'd wish someone would have explained to me on the first video I was watching. So you can see right now where we've got this green bar going up. That is called a candle. That is literally just the price of the stock. In this case, it's gold. If you look at the top left there, it says XAU USD. That just means that this is gold versus the price of the US dollar. But it doesn't really matter right now for what we're going to talk about, because the bit that I want to go over today is the psychology side, where I always kind of, trip myself up and stuff. So it's going to be a little bit of a trade recap today where I explain what I done and why I done it and what I think I could have done better. So if we scroll back here, where are we? It was a fair bit. So here is the trade I took today. You can see there's a little baby one there and then a bigger one here. How much did I make? That's because I took money out. But it's that £6.61 and £72.92. So that's the two trades there, and don't need any of that in there. Note to self, edit that out please. So the reason I took those trades is here, I'm part of a trading group, and it was put in, as you can see there, at 13:53, 7 minutes to 2. The trade idea, which was to enter at 36.46. And if we go back to the trade here, we can see that I entered late. 36.46. Can I draw on this? Yeah, I can. 36.46 is right here. So you can see even that smaller one that I only made a little bit on, I entered late. And then I entered late and again because Sean, whose trading group it is, I'll just keep referring to him as Sean. I was going to say like my mentor or something, but he basically said he's entering here and he was expecting it to run to a high profit. And I only caught the trade, what was that? I think it was at work when I put it on. Yeah, I just got changed in work and then I saw he'd put a trade in and I quickly entered. So I was a little bit late. You can see here that I was maybe, maybe about 5 minutes late into the trade, but I was like, right, okay, it'll probably still go up. And I saw it gone up a little bit, it dipped down, gone up, and that was where I just closed it. I was scared. I didn't leave it to run like I should have, and as you can see here, I put on lots of 0.2. And normally what I would do is, if we look back up here on more profitable days, where is it? One's like here, so I'll leave it at the top of the screen there. A buy of 0.4, another buy of 0.4, another buy of 0.4. I'll be straight up and honest with you, that was the best day I've had on here, where I made, over £1,000 in an afternoon as somebody who's still pretty new to trading. And that was because it was like a special news day and stuff like that, and I also got really greedy. It paid off this time, but I shouldn't have done that because I only wiped my account out. But anyway, I put on buys of 0.4, but what I've started doing now, and what I should have done today, is I'll put on two 0.2s to add up to 0.4. And the reason I do that is, let's say I make a mock one now, right? So let's put one here, right? Hopefully it doesn't actually enter me into it. That would be embarrassing. So let's say that I want to enter here, right? And I would place a buy. And then I would put my take profit. Let's say that's TP1 here. Okay? So that lets me have a take profit level that would make me with why is it so low? 0.2. Well, I mean, that's what I put in, right? So let's say I do a 0.2 and then I do another buy at the exact same spot. Let's place that. Put your TP. TP just means take profit. That means that this would exit you out at that point, right? And then now that allows you to have two separate TPs all adding up to a 0.4. So then let's say the trade went down and it entered me in down here where I've got, let's see, well, I'll put them basically spot on, you can't even see a difference, but that would enter me in at almost the perfect spot down there. And now what this allows me to do is, say price comes up, and this one is maybe not the best example, but, or what can I say here? So let's say that we target previous levels of liquidity. Let's say it's up here, right? And we think that's going to be our top TP where we could make 40, what's that, £45? 0 point, that seems awfully low amount of money. Anyway, right, okay. Let's say that's your top TP up here. You could, if it keeps rising up, right, and it does hit it, you would make the most amount of money, which in this case would be £51, which seems awfully low. Am I just on a really low time frame? Okay, but then let's say that we had a smaller TP of up here. This is almost taking partial profits, where I feel like I'm going into this in too much detail for my first video here, but you know, we'll learn as we go along kind of how to explain things better and whatnot. I'm just trying to get what I'm doing in trading out at the minute. So what I'm trying to say here is, let's say I left this and I only just put on one buy at 0.4 and I put my TP up here. And then let's say that the level gets to exactly here, where it is right now, and then shoots back down, and then it stops me out. Like, see how it's going back down here? I need to close these buys quickly before I actually get into a trade I don't want to be in. I'll leave one here for example purposes, but okay, so let's say that I put my TP up here. I can make, what's that, £50, right? I expect that this is going to shoot to the stars and I'm going to make the money that I want. But let's say it only comes to here. I'll do it with the stop loss. So let's say it gets to here, but I'm wanting it to come up to here, but it makes it to here and then shoots down and would stop me out, and I would make zero money from it, even though it's made, what's that, £41, but it never quite gets to the 52. So what you can do then is you set another buy with a take profit at different spots. So what I like to do now is I'll put one at TP1, which is take profit 1, because in groups you get different take profit levels and stuff, but it's just all kind of arbitrary numbers. So I would set one at my take profit 1 and one at my take profit 2, and then I just kind of let it do its thing, and then that way if it comes up a little bit, it exits me out. And then I always put my stop loss at break even. What that means is putting your stop loss down here, so that if the level comes back down, it exits you out at like £1 profit or something. But if it keeps going, you make full money, and then you've also got partial money. So then let's say it's done exactly what it does here, and then it would come back down, and I had my I had my take profit about here. So I would have made £27 of profit, and then it would stop me out on the other trade because it never makes it high enough. Whereas you could argue, right, okay, if you just had it at take profit 1, then on this trade, this one time, you would have made, let's say it was here, right, you had your take profit £25. You could say, well, you would have 2 at £25. So you can actually line that up a bit. Right, there we go. 2 at £25. You would have made £50. So you should put your TP at number 1. You would go, right, okay. But then let's say that, okay, it's a different example and it shoots up to the sky here. And now you would make £25 and a £50. So you make 75. I need to actually get rid of that before it enters me in. So that's why I think that's such a good, I could do it just without putting in. Let's see up here. Yeah, there we go, 50. So yeah, what I'm saying here is you've got one with your take profit here at £25. So then if it makes it up that little bit and checks that, you make the £25. And you are missing out on another £25 here. But if it keeps going the full way, or if it then goes back on you, then yes, you could have had more money, but you never got it. You could have made 50 instead of 25 that day, so that's, you know, quite a big investment, quite a big amount you've lost it. But if it keeps going up and it reaches that 50, then you make the full 50 on one half, and then you only get 25 in the other. So you make 75% profit if it gets the full way, but you only make 50% if it goes halfway. Well, really, you make a 25%. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on what I want to do going forward with like partial profits and stuff like that, but hopefully I've explained it. So that's where we get back to today. I know I'm getting somewhere with this, you know, long diversion. So what I would normally do is, if I go into a trade and I'm confident with the trade that I've entered at the right time and I'm copying Sean and I'm doing it properly, is I would put 2 on. However, today, that's not what happened. So what happened today is, we'll focus on the first one here. So entered in, and then obviously I was watching it. It dropped down. You can see right after the blue up arrow, the buy that I put in, it went straight down. I saw it losing money, and I was like, oh shit, like, I've just entered into a losing trade here, and I'm not going to have time to watch it and close partials and stuff like that and reduce my risk or just exit out. So when I saw it coming up here, I exited out. I didn't stick to my trading plan of put 2 buys in, one with take profit at TP1 and one with take profit at TP2. And sure enough, I just saw a couple of pounds and I was like, right, we'll close that out. And that's how we got to the trade of £6.61 there, that you can see that buy. Then, if we go back into the chat here, see Sean here, you can see he's saying wait for me to say I'm in, which means he's waiting for it to hit that level of placing a trade at 3646. I never waited for it. I just kind of entered when I saw him saying buy, which again is quite reckless for me because I don't even know why he's entering. I need to teach myself how to do all that, but that's some funded stuff anyway. But he put in a lot of buys there, made quite a bit. This is just some other stuff, but he's showing here that yes, it is hitting the levels he was looking for. And then when he's closed out, but going back to my stuff here, was I just saw him showing that it's hitting the levels he was expecting, and his top take profit was at, where are we here, 3660. So that's where he said I should have held to. And I remember that I put another buy in. So this second buy here was only because I saw it going up. You can see right at that big green candle. That was, I think, a minute before I got into it. And I was like, right, okay, it's definitely going to keep going up here. And then Sean also was predicting it was going to go to 3660. I then entered in. It got up to 70, I think it was, I closed out on 72. And for me, I was like, yeah, that's high enough for me. I should have then, that was me emotionally closing out, because I was watching it, I saw there was money on the table, and for me a good amount to try and hit every day is £100. Obviously that was 80 there, 72 plus 6, so that's 78, about £79, so just under 80. And I'm not quite at my target for the day. That's always what I try and hit, because at that point, 5 days a week, that's 5 days, £100 a day, £500 a week. You get into replacing your job kind of territory at that point. You know, that's when the real fun of trading begins. But anyway, I should have held. What happened here was I didn't trust that it was going to go up. However, this is where, if it never went up and it only got to here and then crashed back down, I'd be kicking myself now and I'd be going, oh, well, you should have. And I keep having this regret, and that's probably one of the biggest issues I have when trading, is I look back on it afterwards and I go, oh, if only I'd done X, if only I'd done Y. But that's because you're looking back with hindsight. It's 2020. And I need to take that emotional side out of it and just put a trade on. Stick to my plan of, right here I should have put 2 buys of 0. Well, actually, right, I should have waited for Sean to say we're coming back down into level. Bought at 46, which was just about here when it enters back in. 47, I think he said 46/47. and that was just coming into 46 here. You can see at the bottom tip of that red candle, just coming back into my level to buy. That's when I should have entered here. I should have put on 2 buys at 0.2, one with a partial. Let's see what the TPs were again, I forget. I should have put on, so TP1, you can see here, it's like TP, TP, TP. TP1 would be 48. So let's say that waited for 46. And I just wait for the tippy top of 46. And normally what I'll do is I'll wait for the bottom of 46 to try and make more profit. Because why would you enter at the top when you could enter at the bottom? But I would have never got entered in here. So let's say that I've done 46 and a bit right. With the stop loss for the first one, which he said take profit was 48. So let's do just 48. So that first trade would have made me £16. And then if we go TP3, because what a lot of the time I'll do is I move things up and down. What I mean by that is if it hit TP1 and my second stop loss was at 50, which is here, which would have made me £58, I wouldn't take it out on 50. I would move this to TP3, which is, where are we here? On the dot, £193 it should have made me if I'd have had the balls to hold on. However, I didn't have the balls to hold on. I didn't trust it. I saw money, I got emotional, and I closed out. So instead of making, 17 plus 193, so 200 I should have made basically on the dot today if I'd have stuck to my plan. However, instead of that, I made 80. So you can see here that it never really worked in my favour. And then even if it just went up that little bit, I would have made 17. And then let's say it went down after that. That's why you set stop losses and stuff. However, 193, if you just done one buy of 0.4, you would have made, like 300 and just shy of 400, we'll say, compared to 200. So you can see where taking partial profits limits you in your overall profits. Where if you're going to risk 0.4, risk your 0.4 rather than taking partials and getting little bits and bobs. But anyway, that's my little trade recap over for today. So that hopefully this has helped somebody, probably me, who'll look back on it. But I'm just aiming to kind of document my trading journey here so that I can show people almost like me learning it from the beginnings. And then that way, if other people go, you know what, I'd like to learn trading or something, they can look back and say, here's a guy who started right at the beginning. I can kind of follow him, see what he's doing, and learn along with him almost. And I feel it's quite a good way to kind of go about it. And I'll post this first video here just as an introduction to kind of show you where I'm at right now with trading. I'm just copying someone else and it's going okay, and even with the copying there's still a lot to think about, and then I want to try and expand and learn how to do it myself, and I'm going to try and document that whole journey to help other people, because I want this to be a journey where this whole channel's purpose is going to be me documenting my journey to becoming profitable in trading. And then if I can do it and it can help just one person who's in the same spot as me, who just goes like, I want to make a change in my life, because this is what trading can offer you. Well, at least that's why I do it, because it's something to dedicate yourself to that can really impact your life. And I've seen that in myself, where I've grown this from, you can see credit, which is your deposit, £300, to £2,500. And bearing in mind I did just take out 400 quid today, so it would have been closer to £3,000, but I'm going to use that 400 to start paying for a mentorship to try and learn this stuff. And I was like, you know what, I'm taking trading a lot more serious. I want to start documenting what I'm doing, trying to help other people anyway. I mean, It's up to you if you you think you got much help from this video, but I find it very useful anyway. It's almost a way for me to kind of journal my trades. So yeah, this will be video number 1, and if you want to see more stuff like this, then give a little like, little subscribe, you know, helps us out, and stay tuned for a couple more videos, well, hopefully a lot more videos.